Hi everyone, Bob Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, making content for you for the week that I have this body available to me, because the existence I live is a real-life version of the substance, where half the time I get to be a cute, beloved, swagged-out music commentarian who has kissed and hugged at least 2 women, and the rest of the time, I'm Keemstar. It's time for another episode of Let's Argue, where I go on the internet and I accept your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, your tough questions. I respond to the best ones. And that is what we are going to do, as we have done it before, again and again and again before, over and over before. KSI's Thick of It was a good song. It was just too different from his other songs for his returning audience to get a hold of. How is it different? Especially since, I'm pretty sure he's rapped on some trap beats that might have a little guitar mixed in here and there on the 2 albums he's released up until this point. Sure, you could argue Thick of It is a tad bit different than a lot of the recent singles he's dropped lately, but I don't know if you could really argue that if you're somebody who's really been riding with KSI for his first couple of records, that song was so beyond the pale aesthetically and stylistically from anything on those 2 records. His fans just couldn't even comprehend it. Oh my God, they couldn't even conceptualize what he was going for. I don't think it's that deep. Movies need to bring back having a rap song play over the end credits that's a summary of the movie's plot. I think you're talking about my man Will Smith, specifically in the instances of Men in Black and Wild Wild West. And I mean, sure, I feel like there should be more of that. And in order to get there, what I feel like needs to happen is Hollywood needs to stop, and I mean this, stop employing Will Smith unless he's gonna rap about the movie that he's in. For too long, Hollywood has been underutilizing this man. Maybe some would say they're giving him the respect he deserves by allowing him, a man who is a known rapper, the ability to just showcase his acting talents in a film without having to rap about it, which, sure, okay, I get it. We all understand. Will Smith can act. I'm not denying that. I don't disrespect the man as an actor. The guy can play a role. He doesn't need to rap about the sitcom he's in order to be in a sitcom. He doesn't need to rap about the movie that he's in order to be in the movie. But again, by allowing him to just skate by into these roles without doing that, we culturally are missing out on a grand opportunity to have more big budget pop rap songs that are all about our favorite movie franchises. And the way I see it, the only way we can get back there is by making Will Smith contractually obligated to write a rap song about every movie that he's in. Because retroactively, he also needs to be made to write songs about past films he's been in. Why the fuck did we not get an iRobot rap? If there was any Will Smith movie from the 2000s, there should have been a rap song about it's that one. Ice Ice Baby has the most quotable bars, the most. Okay, first off, Yo VIP, Let's Kick It. That's just a little intro. That's just kicking things off. That's not even a bar that you sat down, you're like, oh man, I got some real heat with the pen, with this one. I'm writing just godly rap bars here. From there though, all right, stop, collaborate, and listen. I will give you that. That is a very quotable bar. When people say that bar, you think instantly Ice Ice Baby. But will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. Okay. 1, not a great bar. 2, I say that bar to anybody on the street, regardless of if they are Gen X, a millennial, or Gen Z. They're not telling me what song that's from. I think you are overestimating the bar-to-bar impact of Ice Ice Baby. I'm just going to be real with you. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is a top-tier diss track. I don't know what the Grinch did to the guy who wrote/sang the song, but it must have been pretty bad. He literally tells you right there in the song what the Grinch is doing. He lists out a whole bunch of things the Grinch is up to. I mean, if there are things that the guy left out, and I don't think there are, most likely they probably are along the lines of the main stuff that is mentioned in the track, you'd have to guess that this dude is putting the worst of the worst in the song. Anything that's on the cutting room floor is probably paling in comparison, or is maybe too embarrassing to mention. Cal Chesta needs to come out of retirement and release a second mixtape. Maybe. I kind of feel like Cal's style of rap, the sort of rap he would do well with, it's not very on trend right now, unfortunately. I feel like Cal is like John Lennon. Yeah, Cal is exactly like singer and songwriter extraordinaire of the Beatles fame, John Lennon, in that, you know, he had his moment in the sun with the new Classic mixtape, and I feel like if you had him restart his career today with that same mixtape, he never would have made it, because the lyrical genius of Cal today in 2024 just would not be appreciated in the way that it was when that mixtape originally came out. Unpopular opinion, Meet the Grams was very flawed if Drake doesn't actually have a daughter. You know, I vibe with this opinion. Because as great as I think Kendrick was in the midst of this beef, he was more creative, he was more artful, he was more thoughtful, he was more barred up than Drake was, certainly. The material he dropped was definitely more popular and more compelling. Still, if we are at any point to learn that major parts of any of these tracks, especially this track, were just like total crap, totally made up bullshit, complete and utter lies. For a fact, we'd have to learn this as a fact. If we were to ever learn that, it would blow a giant cannonball-sized hole in some of these songs. Because I do think the impact of these tracks kind of hinges on what we perceive as the truth of what Kendrick is saying, especially since throughout these songs, he's making a lot of moral claims about who Drake is as a person. And I mean, what kind of person are you morally if you're just lying about another guy? That's obviously not very good of a look. However, at this point, I'm not sure I feel like I want to know, or the internet should know, because I know that if the internet like found Drake's daughter, they would like hound her and you know, like just be fucking creepy observing her and like turn it into a whole thing. And you know, honestly, I don't want that. I don't feel like kids should be pulled into rap beef per se. It was like certainly shocking and unforeseen when it happened with Pusha T, and that occurred. Obviously, that track was so heavily impactful, but like, we don't need to recreate that same kind of magic, as it were, with every single new major hip-hop diss. New disses and feuds can like be their own thing. You should never talk about films or filmmaking again. I mean, I don't talk about them enough for you to have even posted this fucking comment. You act like I do it on a regular basis. And what do you mean? Just like, I'm just not supposed to talk about films at all in any capacity? Like, oh, this album reminded me of this film, or a tweet that says, I think this film rules. I'm not allowed to do that. Everybody else does it. You do it, and you're just a fucking idiot. You're just some dumbass in my comments, and you probably talk about films on the internet. Why do you get to do it? Or go in my comments and talk about YouTubers YouTubing. I think you would have a point if, again, I was talking about films and filmmaking on a regular basis, but the last time that I did it was like the Joker movie, which, I mean, I don't think any of my comments on that film were like radically out of line or like wildly inaccurate in terms of what it was unfortunately trying to achieve and why it sucked. Again, you would really have to like leave a compelling argument here as to why I don't deserve to talk about films with the extreme rarity with which I do. You would have a point if I was doing it on a super regular basis and I was running a movie review channel while simultaneously having little to no background in film whatsoever. William Shakespeare is overrated. Yeah, man, Shakespeare's mega overrated. His bars were trash. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar could write Sonnet 116, but William Shakespeare could never write T-Pab. Who the fuck is Ice Spice? Ice Spice is a New York rapper who raps and wrote the song Munch.
Like damn, she in her mood. Like damn, she in her mood. Like damn, she in her mood. Like damn, she in her mood.
All right, I'm gonna leave it there. You guys are the best. Love you. Over here next to my head, here's another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, let's argue forever.